All right, welcome back, guys, to another video on the channel. Hope everybody had a great and happy New Year's and are ready to get back on the charts to start crushing it. It's going to be an amazing year. Don't let things like recession and inflation scare you away, because when you are a Forex trader, you can make money on both sides of the field, right? Whether it be you going for a buy because you see anything going up in value, or you're going for a sell because you see it going down in value. And price action strategies pretty much work across every different market. Whether it be stocks, Forex, or crypto, it really doesn't matter. Once you learn this skill set, it gets very, very simple. Looking at one of my first setups for the week, I'm looking at EURUSD. This right here is a very common pair that we always trade all the time. We can see how recently it came right back to the same exact past level of resistance. Because if we're looking to our past, as we always should, right, we can see how once before, when it came to this level, it fell to the downside, right? It fell to the downside right at that past level of resistance. So when price action got right back to the same exact past level, what happened once again, right? It continued to fall at that same exact past level of resistance, right? Now, this right here can be very easy, especially if you know how this right here is a evening star, right? That right there is a bearish candlestick pattern that formed at a past level of resistance. If you spotted that on the 8-hour time frame, which is where I kind of start from, and it can vary depending on who you are and your habits or your preference as a trader. You can start from the 4-hour or the daily or the 8-hour. It's pretty much all up to you. If you don't have an 8-hour time frame, just start from the 4-hour. It's still pretty much very much the same exact thing. But going back to this right here, don't this somewhat look like a double top pattern, right? Do this not looks like a double top pattern where we have that first peak here, right? We have that first peak, and then here we have that second peak, right? And if you know how to trade a double top reversal pattern, right? When price action breaks below the neckline, right? When price action breaks below the neckline, that's when you're looking for a pullback to the same exact level. So if price action breaks below this level, which it is, we're looking for a pullback to that same exact level, and then it's about rejection to continue to the downside. At that past level on the pullback, you're looking for rejection right about there, right? At the same exact previous level that happened in the past. This stuff is very, very simple once you just know what you're looking for and the formation that trades can take, right? This right here is a very simple setup. If you're always looking to your past, you can see how price action broke out and then it made that pullback, right? It then broke out and then it made that pullback, right? And that happened over and over again, right? It broke out and made the pullback only to continue to the top side. So think about the same thing to the downside. It can break out, pullback, right? Break out, pullback, right? And continue to the downside. This right here is exactly what I'm looking for on EURUSD. If price action continues to fall and close below this level, I would then look for a pullback to the same level, look for that rejection at the same past level, and then boom, I'm going for my sell to the downside. Looking for these entry, guys. Like, I cannot stress, right, how very simple it can be in the market to find these trades. Just because we knew that this could be a double top reversal pattern, we knew how to trade it. We knew, we said it, right? We have one peak and then we have two peaks, right? And then we're looking for that rejection once it breaks below the neckline of the confirmation of the formation of that pattern. It is always just that simple, guys, right? Let me show you another one of my setups that I already been into this week on USD CHF. This right here has been a perfect, very simple trade, guys, right? A very simple setup in the market. If you're looking at this right here, you can pretty much already know what I was going for, right? This right here is my past level, right, of support. This right here is my past level of support. So when price action got right back down to that same level, guys, right? It was just like this, right? When it got back down to that same exact level, what do you think I did, right? I was just being patient. At this past level of support, I was trying to see, will the same thing happen that happened here and also happened here twice in the past? If that so happened, I knew I could make my profit back to the top side, right? Just that simple. So all I had to do was just be patient. Just be patient to see, will price action stay above that level? And in the morning time, yesterday morning at 9 a.m. in the morning, I entered my trade. And all I had to do from there was just be patient. And you see this morning, being patient, it really paid off, guys, right? If you're seeing the price action pattern this morning and seeing what happened, right? Right after that setup, it shot all the way to the top side, breaking clear past my TP1 and my TP2. And all this right here was just simple by looking to my past and understanding that this was somewhat in a range, right? It was going back and forth, back and forth. When that happens in the market, I know I can look for buys at past levels of support, which is why I got in for my buy here. Or I can look at sells at past level of resistance any given time in a range in market. It's just going back and forth, right? Back and forth. It's so easy trying to find a trade this way. So this right here as well was one of my setups. Let me show you also looking at British pound USD and how I'm looking at this as well. This is another easy setup that all you really have to do is just kind of wait for price action to pull back to the same exact previous level. If price action right now is on that breakout, right? Like this is the previous level, this is the previous level. Right now, we're on that breakout, and here is what we're looking for. We want to see a price action going to reject and pull back to that same exact past level. Because we know that's breaking below and it could pull back, we know we're looking for bearish confirmation at that same level as well. So if price action decides to stay below this level here, we can look for a sell and make all our money to the downside. The same exact way how we're looking for a sell on EURUSD, if it continues to break and pull back, we're looking for a sell on that one as well. Same thing go for British pound USD. We're looking for a break. We're looking for a pullback to continue to the downside. And all this stuff really all factor off of the DXY. If the DXY decides to push up or decides to go down, right? But all we can pretty much use is what we can see, right? We see price action falling below a level. We know once it falls below a level, we look for the pullback to the same level to continue to the downside. And that's also what's been happening. When it broke below this level, what happened? It pulled back and it continued. When it broke below this level, what happened? It pulled back and it continued. So we're looking for that kind of pattern and structure in the market to continue to keep on falling to the downside. So Euro USD and British pound USD should also be traded the same exact way. The same thing how you can see in the past that it broke out and it pulled back, right? Broke out and it pulled back, broke out and it pulled back, right? And it broke out. But recently, instead of going higher, right, it broke back below and it continued to the downside. So if that keeps happening, we can keep on making money by getting into this sell and riding it all the way to the downside. So that right there is a very simple setup. It's pretty much the same exact thing we're looking at on EURUSD. It's been so many great entries in the market, and it's really just about taking your time to see what's going to take place. I mean, this year is going to be a lot of crazy moves. Let's look at gold as well. If you are trading gold, to see how I'm looking at that as well. Let me give it a quick second to kind of remove some of our old trend lines and markings from our previous videos. Get that out the way right here. Now, if you know about me, right, I like looking at gold from the weekly, daily, or even the monthly in some cases. I don't really like trading gold on the 1 hour or the 8 hour and 4 hour and things like that. I like looking for long-term trades on gold indices or crude oil or any kind of commodity in that way or indice. I like being on the higher time frame because it makes so much more sense. It's a lot easier to trade because not that much bars and stuff going on to influence your decision. If you're seeing this in the most recent past, it fell below this level, it pulled back, right? Fell below this level, it pulled back, right? Fell below this level, and then it pulled back all the way to the downside, right? But most recently, it broken below this key level of support right here, right? This is the key thing I was looking at. When it broke below this level, it could have pulled back, which it did, and continued to the downside, but that didn't happen. Instead, it broke above, right, that downtrend. We had a downtrend going for a long time since April, right? Downtrend, right? Downtrend until recently it broke back above that level. So I believe if price action continues to go up, it's going to pull back here and keep on going to the top side. And also the same thing with gold, right? The DXY is going to play a heavy factor into this because as the DXY, if it continues to go down, I'm pretty sure a lot of guys know this, but if the DXY or the USD dollar decreases in value, right, then gold and silver goes up because it comes an alternative investment for traders, right? If we know that our dollars is losing its value, we put our money into a different asset where it's protected against inflation and things like that. So that's why you've seen this recent push in gold because the DXY has been in a recent downtrend, right? But it's also vice versa. If gold goes up, then that means the dollar has to go down. If gold goes down, that means the dollar is going up, right? Because they both go hand in hand when it comes to the inflation rate and things like that in the economy. But I'm looking at gold in that way. If gold decides to stay above this level, right? If it stays above this level right about here, which it has, and broken above that level, if I see another pullback on the weekly or daily and it stays above that level, as I said, I'm going to go for a buy and keep on riding gold to the top side. So this right here is going to be another great entry to look for as well and to make a long-term trade because I trade gold on the weekly, daily, and monthly always because like I said, as you can see, it's a lot easier to wait for a clean entry and it makes a lot more sense. Look at another entry, another pair on British pound JPY. I'm looking at this as well because I believe it came back to a key level of support. You can see how it's down here again. It's at that key level of support on the weekly. Now going down to my daily, we can see that it pushed up right here at that key level and it pushed up here at that key level. So I believe that price action has came down to a key level of support on British pound JPY. It probably can continue back to the top side just like that. If these past levels, you see this level here, and this breakout and pull back here. If it breaks back above that level, I believe we will see British pound JPY continue to the top side. But right now, it's all about seeing, is it going to stay at this key level of support and stay above it? So here we're at a key level of support. Will it stay above that level and push back to the top side? I understand that once it breaks above this level, how I feel, it's going to keep on pushing up, right? If it breaks back above this level here around 160.39, it could continue back in that uptrend in this somewhat kind of range, right? Because we do see a somewhat range here, going back here, then coming back down, then going back up, then coming back down. So we can see how this level here has been that MAC resistance for a long time since April of this year. And we see this level of support has been a support for a long time since May of this year, okay? So we can see how British pound overall has been in a massive big range. So right now we're at that key level of support on British pound JPY. If it decides to stay above that level and give off a breakout and pullback, we get back into the market and we make our money even more going long on British pound USD. So these right here are just a few of the entries I'm looking at so far this week and how I'm getting into the market. It's also been a very good week so far. If you're just taking your time, not overdoing it, looking for meaningful entries and making sure that things always matter, like not just getting to a trade just because you want to make a quick profit, but really getting into the trade because you see value in the setup and you understand what you're looking for. So also, guys, take your time, be patient, do everything the right way and do it correctly. Don't try to move too fast. Just try to move correctly, right? I'll see you next video, guys. Have a great start to the week and Happy New Year once again. See you later, guys.